Right, so we all have this thing where there's one person at work who's difficult to work with, difficult to deal with, one dickhead. At least one dickhead. At least one dickhead. Usually there's more, but there's at least one dick that everyone thinks he's a dick, she's a dick. I wish they die.
Yep.
They shouldn't be here.
That's why are they breathing my oxygen?
Exactly. And this colleague of mine, she was talking to someone. She's got to talk to this person often, and she put down the phone and she's like, "Oh, this guy's an asshole. He's an asshole." And I said, "Whoa, what do you mean?" She's like, "Well, he's got this attitude of, I don't come to work to make friends." That's such an interesting thing. I mean, I've heard it before, but when someone at work says, "I don't come to work to make friends," I take that as code to mean I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to be an asshole at work. I'm an asshole, and I'm just giving you forewarning. Because if you think about it, no one goes to work to make friends. You go to work to make money. We all go to work to make money. There's not one of us, there's not one person out there who goes to a 9-to-5 wage slave job to say, I'm going to go and make some friends. If you happen to make friends on the way, fine. You're saying what you're saying because chances are you're behaving like a dick. You know people feel the way they do about you because you're behaving like a dick. And here we are.
These are the people who, well, I just can't be bothered with them. You're spending so much time with these people.
Mm.
Yeah? Why bother to make it difficult? Nobody likes getting up early and having to go to work. If you're lucky, you're in a job that you enjoy. Doing something that you enjoy.
Very lucky.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Most of us aren't. Most of us, as you say,
who are lucky enough to have jobs where we have to fall in line. And
of course. And, you've got bills to pay, mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make those 8 hours of your day hell for yourself and hell for other people?
Because misery loves company.
This is true. But what is the point? Come on.
Dude, I follow you and I don't disagree, but you're coming at something with logic where logic doesn't apply. If you are okay with making other people miserable, chances are you're not happy in something yourself. And if you're not happy in your own workspace, you're gonna make life difficult for other people, whether you mean to or not.
I think that's one of the things as well. If you're having to share an office with someone who is just
difficult.
Oh man, it is the worst thing in the world. The problem is that a lot of us are chained to the computer, chained to the desk all day, yeah?
Mm.
No fault of our own, that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And you can, sure, okay, you're supposed to go for a walk every half an hour, because,
it doesn't happen.
No, because then you're told what you're doing, why aren't you at your desk working?
Yeah.
Anyway, and you can't get away from these people. I have to say, fortunately, I'm in like a little office with 3 people, and it's great.
I happen to be in a vicinity of people that are really easygoing and really lovely. So I'm cool where I am.
I have been in that kind of situation where you're just stuck with people, and eventually you just think, do you know what? I don't care. But the problem is, with that not caring that they've brought you down to, you then start not caring about the job. Which then makes it even worse, because then you just don't want to get up and you don't want to have to go to work.
All this affects your psychology. All this affects your mind and your feelings. Our feelings aren't things that are independent of what's going on around us.
Would it not be easier just to kill these people?
Of course, and yes.
Do you think then that these people who are difficult at work because they're struggling at home?
Not necessarily at home. I think it might also be at work. Mm-hmm. But they're struggling in something. They're not happy in something. Because people who are happy don't make people miserable.
So do you think it's worth trying to befriend and...
Nope.
I don't want to use the word help, but
no,
you don't think it's not worth it?
I wouldn't advocate that. Not unless I was in direct proximity with that person.
If you see an in.
I wouldn't be the one to advocate putting yourself out there and befriending this person. For what purpose? Or unless you trying to bring this person round has some sort of effect on the way your working life goes. What's the point? What I've learned in my few years in work is that people who are miserable don't necessarily want to be brought out of their misery. Some people enjoy being a misery guts and just giving people shit all day long. Some people really do get a kick out of that. Yeah. And even if you do deal with it, is it your job? It's not my job to go into work and save people. I'm not there for that. That's not to say that you don't care about the people because you work with them. But this whole thing of I don't go to work to make friends, don't feed me that shit. you going to work to make money is no reason to be an asshole to people. Everyone has enough misery. You know, don't spread your misery to other people because you're pissed off or you're not happy. And we have someone like that at every workplace.
Yeah.
Every workplace, you've got people who are incompetent and they make your life hell because without meaning to, because they're just incompetent. And there are other places where people are simply not happy and they just fuck things up. They just fuck things up in a major way because they're themselves. Why do people do that?
To be fair, these are the people that I don't care about. If you're causing me stress, then I'm just not going to bother to engage you. I'm not going to engage you at all. I can't be bothered. My life's too short.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a work-related problem, I'll help you.
If you've got someone who's going out of their way to make life difficult for other people, what is failing in that workplace for it to keep happening? Why are they allowed to do that?
Yeah.
I don't go to work to make friends. Show me the man who goes to work to make friends. Why? I don't need any more friends. I need more money. So yeah, bit of a rant there. Not really sure what the outcome of that was. It doesn't need to be an outcome.
I think, yeah. Subscribe, like, comment.
Exactly.
Share. Send it to that person at work you hate. And they'll think it's sarcasm.
Or funny, maybe.
Because they'll think that you're talking about someone else in the office.
Only if they're stupid. They might. I don't know.